everybody. Sorry I'm running a little late this morning. I've overslept, but I'm still kind of tired, but I'm feeling somewhat better. Um, you know how that goes when the weather plays havoc on you. You know, gets hot, and then it gets cold, and then it gets hot, and then it gets cold. Um, frame rate. Okay, I'm going to adjust the frame rate on this thing. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, um, we push on. Of course, you know the ongoing saga of Mitch McConnell. I can understand why the staff is doing this and why they're hanging on to their jobs because they know the jobs are temporary. When, if he runs and then if he loses, then if he loses, they're out of a job anyway. Something is not right and not done properly concerning Mitch McConnell. I can't understand why Elaine Childs does not override the staff and say no, unfortunately, he is no longer with us. I can't understand why she's not being transparent on all this. Unless there's something going on between her and China, and why 3 days after his incident that she went to China. If I were me, I would sit there and cancel the trip and say, no, I'm staying here. I got a family emergency to take care of. Unless China doesn't understand. So we need to push back and push back hard. I think Governor Beshear needs to go see Mitch McConnell. Take his security detail with him into the hospital. Why do they have security detail so tight there at that hospital when it's now allowing the hospital to operate properly? And then say, well, he's alive and everything else, then show proof of it. Show a video of it, like a visitation video, and say, hey, we're, and to prove that he's alive. But for all these photos, it doesn't say anything. It doesn't really push that he's alive. He doesn't look like he is. Because remember, a picture is worth 1,000 words. It really is. But so is a video. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So I just wish his immediate family just override the staff and say no. We need to show proof of life. You need to be transparent. Now, what the staff is doing right now, they're desperately hanging on to their jobs until August 3rd. Well, to me, that's fraud. That's fraud. They should have kept everybody up to date right then and there. And the video that they showed of McConnell being loaded in the ambulance, and really the staff didn't seem to be all that much of a hurry with him. That says a lot there, right there too. Okay. Normally, when you have a heart attack victim, you have what they call the golden hour. And you have to get them to oxygen and everything within minutes. Okay? The brain can only last 9 minutes without oxygen. I think they said 5 to 9 minutes, somewhere in there. I don't know if they updated that information or not. But, and the staff saying, oh, he's been talking to them and everything else. Prove it. You have an obligation. The staff had an obligation to the people of Kentucky. They work for them too. and if they're not being truthful and everything else, then they need to resign. The staff needs to resign. They need to put out a statement, resign, and allow Governor Beshear to appoint a new senator. Right now, that so-called elections law or special election law that they passed when before Beshear took office, that's illegal. Because that's interfering with the state constitution. Their state constitution says the governor has the sole power to appoint a new federal House of Representatives and a new federal senator. He has sole power to do so. No special election. Okay. Some states allow special elections, but some don't. It depends on the setup of every state. Sorry, I'm itching for some reason. I don't know why I'm itching. I think something's chewing on me. You know how it is when you have a spider or a dust mite or something like that. They sit there and they go chomp chomp. So we need to push back and say, hey, things need to be done properly. Now, healthcare. Of course, you know, with Congress, they have their own Cadillac healthcare. So what's wrong with sharing it with the people? Okay. They share it with the people. In other words, everybody needs to be on the same healthcare plan. They can add, the people can add or subtract whatever they need or don't need in their healthcare plan. They should be allowed to do that, okay? This fall, when I'm due to go back in for my vitamin D shot, I'm going to have to stop the shots. Because you know how much those vitamin D plus shots are? $600. And it should be covered by insurance, but it's not. Because last time I had a vitamin D shot, which was not the one a couple of months ago, but 4 years ago, that was covered by insurance. That was before Congress and Doge and Trump started meddling with it. They need to leave the insurance alone. So we need to make healthcare universal. All the other countries do it, and it works fine for them. So why can't we get it to work fine here? Now, I know UK does not have insurance companies. It's all paid for straight there, and it's a service. All the doctors and nurses and support personnel are on a salary. That's how. They say, well, taxes are high and that. But people don't mind paying for that for their health care. They really don't. I don't mind helping out for health care and everything. It's just that I don't like insurance companies. You guys better be listening. You don't sit there and need to stick your nose into between the doctor and the patient tell them what they can and cannot do. You have no business doing that insurance. You need to start paying. We pay into the insurance. You should be giving the service back by saying, okay, yeah, do this. And they need to stop all this referral crap. Let the patient refer themselves. Because they know them. They know themselves, okay? Insurance companies don't. And so the insurance companies should be paying for, like the vitamin D shots, vitamin B plus shots. Some people have vitamin D deficiencies, okay? And sometimes vitamin D pills or vitamin D B vitamins, pills, don't always give you the proper amount. Okay? Oh, another thing too, the insurance company to do is start paying for EpiPen. EpiPen originally, when I found out that I was highly allergic to wasps, bees, wasps, those guys, it was like $3 for the EpiPen. Okay? It did its job of protecting the person who got stung. Now they won't pay for EpiPen. They make the patient pay for EpiPen, and those are like $200. Excuse me? No. Insurance companies, you need to pay for EpiPen. It's like $3, and it should be limited to $3. Stop gouging people. Knock it off. That's one of my other pet peeves. Okay? Now, another factor you need to think about. What about the pay to Congress? We need to change that. We need to enforce where Congress works for the people. So, what I suggest is, their pay should be adjusted to what their constituents make. They say, well, everybody can't even pay. So, not all states are on the same level, okay, of cost of living level. Some are higher than others. Some are lower than others. It depends on what kind of industry that each state has, okay. So it should be based on their pay, based on what their constituents make. And I'll bet you things will change real fast, okay? Same way on their health care. Health care should be shared by everyone, should be shared with their constituents. No more of this Cadillac snotty thing. And that's what they're doing. Also, after all this is said and done, because I'm pretty sure that after the midterm, things are going to change pretty fast. Because when that happens, I'm sure Trump will they'll have impeachment proceedings occur. He has done so many dumb and stupid things. He's endangering people. He's not following the rule of law as he's supposed to. He's not doing his homework or anything else. And I think behind all these policies and everything is Stephen Miller. I'm surprised the chief of staff of Trump is not putting her squash on Miller and telling him, no, you just don't do that. You just don't sit there and dictate everything that's going behind. Because all Miller sees is he wants to be president. But no, I don't want Miller there at all. So, I hope, and it should happen, and I think it will happen, that Trump will be impeached, removed from office, everybody gone, and a whole new set of professional people in Congress and executive office, and everything being put back the way it was. Well, someone like that being put back the way it was, it's not going to happen. Yes, it will happen. Okay? Things were put there for a purpose. There's history behind those. You can't erase history. Once it's written, it's set in stone. So, hi Nancy! Yeah, I agree, Nancy. Per diem is the way to go. They should get a per diem pay from whatever state that they represent. Yes, it's the way to go. That's how the first Congress started, was per diem. When their state sent them a or appoint a senator or a house, they uh, set them and give them per diem pay for meals, for room and board, if need be, or the state will pay for a townhouse that they will live in. Um, whatever how that's set up. But that's in the first Congress. That's what they did. They gave them per diem pay, and the rest of the stuff they need extra. The senator will senator of the House rep. Um, the first Congress, they paid for themselves. They paid their way for other things. Um, the constituents should have been watching it more closely, and also require permission from their constituents. Can they do this? Can they do that? Yes or no? If you tell them no, no, I say, if you really want this type of thing, you have to pay for it yourself. It doesn't come out of our taxpayer funds. Pay for it for yourself. So, have their own dorms or rent a townhome or I just thought of something. Rent a tiny house. Make them live in a tiny house. That would drive some of these selfish ones up the wall. They're required to live in a tiny house. I think that's kind of funny. Anyway, yeah. And as I stated before, when everything's all said and done, everything needs to be put back the way it was. Because everything before Trump, everything was working just fine. I love you, Nancy. Yeah, it would work. Um, Build a tiny home village for House representatives and senators. And then they would have to bicycle their way to work. Not take a car, take a bicycle. Either a two-wheel bicycle or a trike bicycle. Or a scooter. The other thing we need to push for is change the requirements on the Senate and the House and the President. President can age 35 to 65 for elections, okay? Serve 2 terms. Well, the President already serves 2 terms. Age requirement on that. Same way with the Senate and the House. 35 or younger. If they're like 18, they're an adult and everything else, and they've served in the state for a while and everything else. And those that are 18 or older can serve in the federal office. You'd say, well, they can't drink at 21. Well, okay, change it to 21 to 65. But serve 2 terms. Every 4 years. Not 7, 7 years for House and whatever years in Senate. No. Should be every 4 years. Equally. None of this other crap. And this would cut out the midterms. We've been kind of voting ourselves to death on this, and we need to push back and say no. We need to take a break. We need to step back so things can be corrected. Age limits and term limits, yes, that's what we need to push on. So if you have any comments on anything, comment here on Facebook or comment on my YouTube channel or Substack. I'm in Substack too. It's interesting reading all kinds of different things. I read ground news. I read 1440 newsletter. What I mean by 1440, that's the year that things start going into print, in the year 1440. Now everything's being printed and a book is being made. That's what happened way back in the medieval period. People were hungry and thirsty for knowledge. And people are still hungry and thirsty for knowledge. So anyway, let me check my calendar. Let me check things here. Okay, I'm good. So I'll see you on Friday at 1 o'clock. You have any ideas for my topics? Yell. Make a comment on my Facebook page. Make a comment in my YouTube thing, or YouTube channel, which by the way is back up to 70 people, so I need more subscribers. I need to push for that. I'm going to have to start utilizing AI to help me figure out how to set that up and in other words, make things more interesting. Okay? So anyway, I will see you on Monday, or not Monday, I will see you on Friday. I'm really tired. I'll see you on Friday. Take care. Be sure to insist, persist, and push back. And sending love to all my friends and family. And please take care. Oh, another thing too before I go. I don't know if any of you heard what happened in Seattle yesterday. There was a shooting during the Bite of Seattle festival, food festival that they hold every year. They said 6 people have been shot, and I didn't get any more information on that. They were still gathering it. I don't know if anybody died from it or anything. There was a child that was shot. Among those 6. So, send your prayers, and I hope that they recover. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Love to all. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.